Welcome to Activate Live. I'm Tanya Hutchins, a communications representative here at the Machinists Union, headquarters in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Don't worry, we're excited about this new live show, which gives us a new way to communicate with our members, union members in general, and working people who have yet to organize. And you can watch us. See, I popped up. You can watch us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and please bear with us as you just saw as we navigate this new technology. We'll have growing pains, but we hope to keep you up to date on what's happening, not only at the IAM, but even in Congress when it comes to legislation that affects workplace freedom and getting a fair return on our work. Now, we have a few news items to share with you. We have members affected by Hurricane Irma and Harvey, but first, we're going to bring you some breaking news. I'm going to read to you a statement from our international president, Bob Martinez. He says that the Machinists Union is strongly opposed to the McCain-Reed National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA. This amendment would devastate local communities and displace workers. This amendment would be an economic disaster during a time of constrained budgets and intense global uncertainty. We need to protect these communities, not deliver a crushing blow to their local economies. The IAM will stand with the local communities and working families to fight against these unnecessary base closings. That's from International President Bob Martinez. Now, as I mentioned before, we do have members affected by Hurricanes Irma and Harvey, and we'd like to remind you that if you're affected and you need help, you can apply to what was once called the IAM Disaster Relief Fund. It's now called IAM Assistance or IM Assistance. Help is available. Just go to our website. It's goiam.org. That's goiam.org. Follow the instructions to apply for assistance. Everything is right there on our website. You should be able to find it from the page. This is what the page looks like. You must be a member in good standing. Of course, our thoughts and our prayers are with all of our members that are in this time of need. Now, if you would like to donate to the fund, you can contact the IM Assistance Department, which handles disaster relief. So we hope that you will donate, and please apply if you do need help. In other news affecting the IAM has ended its partnership with Harley-Davidson after 22 years. Now, this affects the collaboration agreement and not the contract, which remains in place. International President Bob Martinez says that it had become apparent to him that for the last 7 years, Harley-Davidson has been and continues to systematically dismantle its hourly workforce through various means. He says the collaboration worked well for many years, but the company changed the direction of how it communicated with our leadership teams in the plants. Harley-Davidson announced in May that it would build a plant in Thailand. Martinez calls that a slap in the face. Now, to clarify, this decision does not affect representation, union status, or collective bargaining agreements of any IAM or USW, United Steelworkers members at Harley-Davidson. Now we are going to make it to our first guest, and I'm going to plug in my earphone piece because I was hearing too many voices before, so I unplugged it. But we look forward to this new study that we're going to tell you about. The Economic Policy Institute recently issued a report on how today's unions help working people, giving workers the power to improve their jobs and unrig the economy. So we are joined and lucky enough to be joined by one of the authors, Marni von Wilbert, Associate Labor Counsel, supporting the Economic Policy Institute's Perkins Project on workers' rights and wages, a policy response team tracking the wage and employment policies coming out of the White House, Congress, and the courts. Thanks for joining us via webcam, Marni.
Happy to be here.
Now, what did you hope to accomplish with this study?
So we wanted to study at EPI how today's unions are helping working people across the country improve their terms and conditions of employment. And 16 million men and women working in America are represented by a union, and we wanted to show how unions are thriving in many diverse workplaces across the country. So, for example, we have graduate students in Massachusetts who are organizing at universities, we have firefighters all across the country, we've got security guards in Washington, D.C., legal aid attorneys in New York are unionized, Major League Baseball players, you name it, lots of different industries and employees are getting union protection and rights.
Now, today's unions are very popular, and we were so happy to hear that news, that nearly half of workers polled said they'd vote to create a union in their workplace tomorrow if they got the chance. Now, that was great news to us. Was this surprising to you?
You know, it's not surprising to us. We've known for a while at the Economic Policy Institute that most workers do want to join a union, but are thwarted quite often by intense pressure from employers and corporate interests who hire persuaders or union busting consultants to come into the workplace and intimidate workers. And part of our study revealed how often employers are fighting union campaigns with multi-million-dollar projects to try and make sure that they're voting no. The Department of Labor has been trying to track how much money employers spend on these persuaders, and most of that data is publicly available on the Department of Labor's website, but a lot of it is not. And so something that we talked about in our report is the fact that the current presidential administration under President Trump is repealing what's known as the persuader rule, which would have disclosed all the money employers spend on these anti-union consultants. So one of the reasons that we see this mismatch between the number of workers who want to join a union and the number that are in a union is because of these intense anti-union tactics by employers.
I don't think people realize how much money is actually spent on those anti-union efforts. We have another graphic up that unions raise wages for both union and non-union workers. Now, we've known that for a long time, but tells us what this means, not only for the community, but for working families.
Yes, so when union density is higher across the country, wages across the board increase. Now, granted, if you are represented by a union, wages overall are 13% higher than for comparable workers in non-unions. So no matter what, it's still better to be represented by a union in terms of wage increase. But the reason that unions help non-union workers' wages as well is because once union contracts come into place and wages and benefits and terms and conditions of employment are good at certain industries and certain workplaces, non-union employers also have to offer those benefits so that they will keep up with the union employers to retain the qualified workers they want to retain.
Now, when you get to retirement security, that's another issue where you had some findings that, 90% of people who participate in a retirement program were union. When you look at the non-union workers, it's only 75%.
It's true. And, with the baby boomer generation starting to retire, we're going to be seeing a big crisis in this country of too many or too few folks have enough to retire on, especially with pensions that are not being funded like they should be these days. So union employers are 22% more likely to contribute to their employees' retirement funds and contribute more to their retirement funds. And it makes sense because if you have a union contract in which workers can come together to tell their employer that their retirement is very important to them, employers are more likely to contribute to the retirement fund.
Now, there are a lot of stereotypes out there. Who are today's workers? One of the things that you found is that there was a big difference between what people thought about union members and the reality. And the perception out there is that you have a white man who's a construction worker and that's a union member. But what did you find?
Yes, well, while there are plenty of white men who are great and working in the workforce and represented by unions, that's not all that unions are represented by. We have most folks, 46% of union workers are women, and a third of them are people of color. And in fact, Black workers are more likely to be represented by a union than any other racial group. And it's bringing up wages among Black workers, among Hispanic workers, and women to help close those wage gaps, which is also very important.
So this is changing people's lives. When you talk about the right of working people to join unions, we know that we've been under attack for decades. You mentioned that earlier about, so much money being spent on anti-union efforts by different companies. You found that when fewer people are in unions, the top 10% capture a much bigger piece of the pie. Tell us about this.
Yes, so we've seen steadily with the decline in unions in the private sector mainly because those are the ones facing intense employer opposition. Now, what's going on recently with Wisconsin and some other state attacks on public sector unions is alarming to us. But the majority in the trend of union rates declining has been in the private sector because private sector employers are increasing their opposition and their unlawful tactics to fire workers who are trying to organize workers on the floor or in cubicles or whatever office space you work in. So as leadership has bosses, wealthiest wage earners' power has declined as well. And that's why you see more wealth going to only the top 10% of workers in the country as union membership declines. And we're hoping to reverse that trend by putting this report out there to show how important it is for workers to have a collective voice through unions.
Marni, the report states the freedom to join together and negotiate with employers is widely recognized as a fundamental human right protected by the U.S. Constitution and U.S. law. And we're so happy that we have lawyers like you and the lawyers here at the Machinists Union and the AFL-CIO who are keeping an eye on the law because some young people and some people that don't know about labor law don't realize that these are protected rights.
It's true. We have the right in this country to join together and ask for a union. And if anyone is fired or has any adverse employment action because they wanted to join a union or have collective action in their workplace, that's against the law. And people can get redress. The National Labor Relations Board gets a lot of folks their jobs back with back pay. It takes a process, but the law is there to protect us. And we are also advocating for changes in policy to make sure that workers have their rights to collective bargaining are protected even more stringently, and that the barriers are reduced for workers to join the unions that they seek to join.
Thank you so much. Marni von Wilbert of the Economic Policy Institute. She's the Associate Labor Counsel there at EPI. And if you want more information, you can go to epi.org/unions. And now we have a big reveal for you. We're all excited. We all agree that education is key when it comes to improving the lives of working people. And for many, going to a college is only a dream due to the soaring costs of higher education. Thanks to a new partnership, that dream is now a reality for thousands of IAM members. Joining me now is Dan Jones. He's the Student Resources Center. What is your title?
Vice President of Student Resources Center.
Oh, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Tanya.
No problem. Now, I hear you get a lot of questions about this program, and one of the first questions is this for real? Yeah,
the number one question is this for real? It seems too good to be true, but it absolutely is real. The union has fought and negotiated for a wonderful benefit for its members that allow a variety of family members that we can talk about in a moment attend college and earn an associate's degree at no out-of-pocket expense to them.
Now, how does the program work? I mean, we'll talk about how to apply in a moment, but how is it funded? How are you able to do this?
Sure. So when a student enrolls, there are three really mechanisms for funding. The first is federal financial aid, and it's important to know that students do not take out loans for this program. So any federal financial aid that they are eligible for, which are grants, which do not have to be paid back, that's the first item that helps to pay for this benefit. The second item would be any tuition reimbursement or vouchers that a member may have negotiated as part of their contract. And if those two items are added together and there is still a balance, then that is the IAMAW's last dollar scholarship, which covers the balance of the bill, and so the student does not have any out-of-pocket expense.
That is the best part. It's covering the balance of the bill because so many parents and families have a gap after they apply for all of their financial aid, and then they get the bill and there's still an amount that they have to pay that they may not be able to afford to pay.
That's absolutely right. And so our admissions process for a member, and you do have to be a member in good standing, is to fill out the college's application, which is online. It's a very easy document to fill out. Members then fill out the FAFSA which is the federal application for student financial aid. That will determine an individual's eligibility in terms of those grants, right? And again, no loans. Do not take out loans for this program. And then third is a member will have to locate and send in their high school transcripts and any previous college work that they may have done as well. If you have those three things, you submit those to the college, and then that's when the scholarship kicks in, so to speak.
This is great. How did this partnership come about between the IAM?
Sure. Well, our group has been working with community colleges for years, really focused on helping college be more accessible, particularly for working individuals and their families, and then secondly, to make college more affordable. To be honest, this program started when we had several union members, not necessarily IAMAW, but other brothers and sisters that we have. They were in our program in Ohio, which is where the college is located, and they had such a wonderful experience that they actually alerted their international or national unions to this program, and that directly leads me to sitting here with you today.
That's wonderful, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
And this is Eastern Gateway
Community College. Eastern Gateway is part of the Ohio State Community College system. It is credited by the HLC, and that's important for members to know, because what that means is when you earn credits at Eastern Gateway, you can transfer those credits to other institutions around the country. So right now, we have students from all 50 states in the program. There's nearly 6,000 union members in the program today.
Is it only available in the United States right now?
For right now, it is for the United States, although for members in Canada, we are exploring those options and hopefully we'll be able to launch next year.
Okay.
So the college is part of the system, and with those credits, let's say you live in Maryland or you live in Texas, you can then transfer those credits to a four-year institution in your own state.
And we have to let people know you don't have to live in Ohio to take advantage of this, right?
That is correct. Roughly 25% of those 6,000 students are in Ohio right now, and we have students from the other 49 states as well. We're happy to have them.
So see what's possible with studying online.
Absolutely.
More and more people are doing it. How should people apply? Like you said, go to the website that we have set up.
Sure. So the website address is freecollege.goiam.org.
Okay, freecollege.goiam.org.
Or you can call the 800 number, which is actually 888-590-9009.
Say that one more time.
888-590-9009.
Okay.
If you go to the website, again, freecollege.goiam.org, or call that website, you'll be put in touch with a counselor from the college who can walk you through those 3 steps that I mentioned. Once you finish those 3 steps, again, that is application, FAFSA, and transcripts.
Okay.
You will then register for courses, and you're off and running.
Speaking of courses, what are some of the academic areas that are available?
So the 2 most popular programs we have right now are an Associates in Arts, and that is a degree that is really built for transferring for a 4-year degree. So you can earn, again, those first 2 years of college essentially at no cost, and then transfer to another institution.
That is key, those 3 words, at no cost.
At no cost. I'll say it again, too. The second, our other most popular programs are business administration, so you can earn associates in business administration, but we also have degrees in early childhood education, in criminal justice. So there's a variety of programs, and they are all listed on the freecollege.goiam.org website.
That is wonderful. So let's go over again who's eligible.
Sure. So from an academic perspective, a member will need to have completed high school or a high school equivalency, that's a GED in many states, and then fill out the application. That's eligibility from the academic side. From the union side, you do need to be a union member.
Okay, and in good standing?
Correct.
Okay, that is great. Okay. Can you think of anything else we haven't mentioned about this wonderful new benefit for IAM members?
In addition to members, I will say that IAMAW has also negotiated that spouses, children, grandchildren, in-laws, brothers and sisters. There's a wide variety, and these are all listed on the website as well. So it is not just for members, but the union wants this benefit to be enjoyed by all members of the family.
That is huge. Yep. Huge. So husbands, wives, partners,
children, grandchildren. Yeah, it's fairly exhaustive.
And there you saw the number up on your screen. If you are interested, for more information, call 888-590-9009. That's 888-590-9009. Free college, now a benefit for IAM members and their families. So that is just wonderful news.
It's a wonderful benefit. As I mentioned, we already have nearly 6,000 union members in the program, and
including OPEIU.
Absolutely.
Okay, because we have some of our workers here are in OPEIU.
AFSCME is a large member. OPEIU in Ohio, we have fraternal order police, we have firefighters. So, call the number, get on the website, and go to school.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much, Dan. Thanks for being here. That's great. Okay, sit tight for a minute. That was Dan Jones of the Student Resources Center. Before we leave, we'd like to tell you about a few items that we have on our calendar, at least what's going on this week. The Wood, Pulp, and Paper Conference is going on this week. Next week, we have the Government Employees Conference. And this Friday, mark your calendar, this Friday is the last day to apply for the Basic Communicators class that takes place November 12th through the 17th. So make sure to mark your calendars on that. And thank you so much for joining us for our very first show. We know it was a little bumpy in the beginning, but hopefully you stuck with us. And don't forget to spread the word. If you like what you saw and heard, please like our post, comment, and share it so we can activate our voices as working people. And make sure to follow us on all of our social media sites. Facebook, we're Machinists Union, same thing, Twitter @Machinists Union. If you're watching us on YouTube, and you have YouTube and you're watching us on one of the other sites, we're IAMAW Grand Lodge. Follow us on Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. And if you don't already get iMail, you can sign up on our website, goiam.org. Now, we'd also like to thank Joe Heckman and Brian Collis and our information systems, our IT staff, for the help preparing for this show, and Chad Moore of TJ Media for his technical assistance. Also, Ron Weibel from the Wimpesinger Center Maintenance Department, who is building the furniture for our show, and our show director, Rich Luciani, who's sitting about 6 feet away from me. He's really shy, and he's blushing right now, but he really had a lot of hard work getting ready for this show. So thank you again for joining us. See you next week for Activate Live.